What's going on, Kings? It's Keefe. In this video, we're going to be going over 5 big mistakes that men continue to make with women. Now, these are really going to be first principle kind of things. These aren't going to be the surface level tactics. These are going to be big things that are keeping you from even getting the tactics right. And these are 5 mistakes that I have personally made in my life. And I find that once I stopped making these, all the other stuff seemed to put itself in place. These are really the things that are keeping you from even getting any results at all with women to begin with. Now, before we get into that, hit the subscribe button and bell icon. This channel is all about helping you level up and become that high value winner that you were born to be. Now, let's get started. The first big mistake is like the first thing that guys really struggle with when it comes to talking with girls. Like every high school guy has struggled with this just about at some point, and it is failing to go man to woman with the interaction. So basically, this is the whole thing we've heard of, the 30-minute conversation to nowhere, where like you never actually got to the point. And you can think of this sort of like, I mean, imagine if you were like a car salesman or something like that, and somebody came up and they were looking to buy a car, and you're the car salesman. Your job is to sell the car, but you never actually went and asked them to buy a car, or you never even talked to the person who showed up about cars to begin with. You just shot the shit with them. Like they would just get annoyed with you. They'd be like, we have a purpose for being here and you're just wasting our time. And that's kind of what guys end up doing when they fail to go man to woman. So basically what this is the guy gets put in the friend zone because he never establishes the dynamic as being a man and a woman interaction, as a sexual interaction of sorts. So it just becomes very platonic, very surface level. This is when you're just having that interview process and you're never actually trying to get to the point of why you're there. You need to establish some intent, not necessarily intent in like a needy kind of way, but more just establishing the premise that this is a man to woman interaction, that you are actually interested in this woman in a sexual way, not just in a friendly way. And it's such like a fear block for most guys. They won't actually go do this because they're afraid of the rejection. But by doing that, you're just rejecting yourself to begin with. So you might as well just go man to woman. The second big mistake guys are making is waiting to be saved. That's what I call it. This is this strange phenomenon where guys don't seem to realize that it's within their power to go solve their issues with women. They think something outside of them is going to come do it for them. Rather, the moment is just suddenly going to be right, and like it hasn't been right their whole lives, and they're just waiting for that perfect moment or the perfect girl or whatever. And so they never actually establish themselves as the reason why they're not getting girls, and therefore they could also be the reason why they are getting girls. I have some guys who will talk to me, whether they message me on Instagram or we have coaching sessions, and they come up with these like mental gymnastics of why they can't just go solve this problem for themselves. And I know it's not just like something you can just miraculously become great at. It's like any skill, you're gonna have to get good at it. But these guys don't even realize that it's within their grasp to actually go establish the skill. For example, I had a guy message me on Instagram a few months back, and he was like, I think he was 35 or maybe like 40, and he's like, I'm a virgin, and he's like, this is really bothering me. Like, how do I go solve this problem? It's like, what do I do about it? Like, how do I fix this? That's what he was asking me. And I'm sitting here like, dude, just go solve the problem. Like, what are you waiting on? Like, he thought some magic situation was going to come fix this for himself. It's like, the reason you're still a virgin is because you've decided to be a virgin because you never went and did anything about it. And you've been waiting your whole life for this situation to come along and solve the problem for you, but it's your problem to solve. So you need to recognize in yourself, are you waiting for some situation to save you? Are you telling yourself that I'm not in these situations where there's women around and I need to put my, like there's no situation, like I go out in public, there's no girls around, they're like the girls just need to show up, or you're telling yourself something like that, rather than establishing yourself, I need to go find where the women are at, or I need to go decide that I'm going to solve this problem. You're waiting for the circumstances to unfold so that it will solve itself for you. And that just never happens. And even if it did, I bet you drop the ball because you wouldn't establish it as a man to woman interaction, or you'd be afraid to risk it. So you wouldn't even get it even if it fell right in your lap most of the time. You need to establish yourself as your own savior and stop waiting for something outside of you to solve this problem for you. The third big mistake that guys are making, and this is one that I only recently recognized that I had been doing in myself, was waiting to be worthy, okay? And this is an idea of thinking I need to get X, Y, and Z before I can get girls. Like I need to get my money right. I need to get my body right. I need to have certain situation for my living situation, or this kind of car, or whatever it is. You're telling yourself all these things you need before you can get the girl. And I'm not saying that you can just be some bum and decide, oh, I'm worthy, right? Like, that's not how it goes. That's just you being in denial. But there is a difference between thinking that you're doing these things to become worthy of this thing and understanding that you're already worthy of it and you do the things anyway. So I want you to think about it like this. Let's say, because this is what guys do when it comes to this subject. So we'll use the gym as an example. Let's say that you want to get in shape, but you keep telling yourself, I need to get in shape, but I need to do these things first. I need to get my money right. I need to find the workout plan I'm going to do before I get in shape. I need to find the supplements to eat and all these things. You tell yourself all these things you need to do before you get in shape. Basically, what you're telling yourself mentally is that I'm not getting in shape yet. And so you never even start the process. And rather than doing that, what you could say is, I'm getting in shape right now. And there's not all these prerequisites for it. You just decide I'm getting in shape right now. And suddenly you will go out and you will find the workout program. You will find the money you need to invest in all the things, in the gym membership and the supplements, whatever. And you will start working out because you just decided you were going to do it rather than saying, I need all these prerequisites to be worthy. And guys do this with women as well. They will say, I need to get the money right. I need to get the body right. I need to get the car. I need to get the house, whatever it is. They need all these things before they can move forward. And so because of that, they never actually move forward. It's just like this way of putting it off rather than just saying, okay, I'm going to be the guy who actually gets girls. And if you decide you're going to be that guy, the other things will just start to work out. There's no worthiness involved in this. This is not about self-worth. Like, I need to have all these things to earn the right to this thing. That's not what you're doing when you're improving yourself to get to that point. I want you to understand this. This is a mental concept you need to really establish, is when you decide on a goal and an objective that you want to have in your life, you're already worthy of it. Because understand, when you say, I'm going to do this, the process naturally unfolds, right? Like if you say, I'm going to go get in shape, you start working out. Whereas before that, you weren't working out. So that basically means that the process is just part of the goal, because you wouldn't have actually started on the process without the goal. And that means if you are moving along the process to this final realization that you have in your mind, you're already worthy of that final realization because you're already doing the process to get there. If you weren't worthy, you wouldn't even do the process. So stop putting up this mental block and telling yourself you're not worthy of the women. Tell yourself that you're worthy and just decide, I'm gonna go be that guy, and then just start doing the things and understand that's just the process of reaching this final realization you have in your mind. And that final realization isn't even the final realization. It's just what you see right now. As soon as you get it, you'll just go on to the next thing. This is not some end-all holy grail situation where you have to like become worthy of it. It's just a part of your life as you move forward and you decide that that's what you want to experience in your life. You're already worthy of it, and the process of getting there is just the natural unfoldment. It's not something where you have to go earn the right to it. Now, the fourth mistake that men are making with women is they are far too cynical. This is something that starts to happen when guys get some bad situations with women, or they hear some stuff on the internet and they take it the wrong way and they become very cynical towards the nature of something. In this case, we're talking about women. Now, if you become cynical to something, you're not going to get the results you want. I've talked about in several recent videos this idea of context versus content. So your thoughts are going to say whatever. That's your content. What's the context underneath the thought? So understanding that your thoughts are saying all these things, okay, what is that actually trying to say? And it's all cynical in nature. Well, if it's cynical in nature, then the results you're going to get are going to be results that somebody who's cynical gets. You need to stop worrying about the thoughts because the thoughts are irrelevant. If you change the context underneath, the thoughts will change as well. So a lot of guys are very cynical, and because they're cynical, they keep reinforcing the cynicism because that's all they see around them. If you decided I'm not going to be cynical and you dropped all your cynical thoughts about it and decided I know what the truth of this world is, I know what the truth of intersexual dynamics is, and I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm going to use it to the best of my ability. You decide to be empowered rather than cynical. Stop complaining and actually use it to your advantage because there are opportunities in it. It's just a matter of your perspective and what you're going to focus on. But if you're cynical, you won't see the opportunities. You'll just find reasons to complain, and you'll find like Reddit forums you can hop on and like use other cynical guys, and you'll just reaffirm your cynicism and you'll never move forward. If you're cynical about something, you won't get anywhere. All these like socialist type people who are broke and hate rich people, people. They're cynical of wealth. If you just decided, why don't I learn from the rich rather than being cynical and mad at them, maybe you'd actually start to make some money. It's really just this way in any aspect of your life. You should look at the context rather than the thoughts and the content, because the content will tell you whatever the context is. So just change the context underneath. You'll get better thoughts that will help you move forward. So don't be cynical, decide to be empowered, and you'll start to move forward. And the fifth and final mistake that guys are making is failing to risk anything. They play the low risk game. And this is actually how all of these things start to create this kind of like perverse cycle, basically. So what happens is a guy, he's number one, he's not going to make it man to woman, right? And because he doesn't make it man to woman, he never gets any results. Because he never gets any results, he gets cynical. Because he's cynical, he doesn't risk anything because he doesn't think it's going to work out. And because he doesn't risk anything, he never gets any results. And he just starts to compound this thing, and he just all he can see is the fact that it won't work out for him. But he's doing it to himself. It's all in your mind. You're not risking anything. So for example, how many guys have dating app profiles versus how many guys will actually approach a girl in person? It's like every dude's got a dating app profile. Does every dude actually go approach girls? No, he doesn't, because one is low risk, one is higher risk. But which one's going to get you the reward at the end of the day? You guys have probably been on dating apps. How's that really working out for you? Most of the time, it's really not that effective of a solution to the problem. Usually, if you risk something, you're going to get something better. The low risk things very rarely actually pay huge dividends. It's very rare to find something that doesn't require much investment or risk that will really pay off in the long run. You have to do the high risk behaviors. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, right? So this is what guys do with women. They don't risk anything. Again, that's basically what not making it man to woman is. They're not willing to risk getting rejected in a man to woman context. That's even really what it's about when you're saying you're not worthy. You're not willing to risk rejection. So you keep telling yourself, I'm not ready to talk to girls. I'm not ready to talk to girls. I need to do all these different things. You want to make yourself this greatest, like the most amazing thing possible before you ever risk it. But the funny thing is, you're still not going to risk it because you're going to get all the prerequisites now, and you're just going to decide you need more prerequisites. It's never going to be enough. You just got to decide you're going to risk it and go for it. And you got to stop being so caught up in if you get rejected. If you fail to risk, you will get no rewards. And then you'll just become cynical, and you'll talk about why it's the woman's fault rather than realizing it was you and your inability to risk, inability to make things man to woman, inability to decide to actually go do it. You're waiting around for something to save you, and then you just become cynical. It's all just working off itself here. And you got to get out of all these like bad mental habits that guys have around women and just decide you're going to take responsibility for this aspect of your life, and that you have the power to go do something with it, and you're willing to risk to get the reward. Guys, if you got something out of this video, give me a like, hit the subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.